Yo, what's going on? It's Jay.
It's B.
This is Lit Logic. We are on episode 103.
103.
Damn, I know it's been a minute.
Once again, it's on.
It's been a while. We back. We had to
Absolutely.
step away for a little bit, but now we back to giving y'all the content that y'all like. Or maybe you don't like. Who knows?
Nah, they like it.
I guess.
They like it. They like it. Y'all like us.
Yeah, man. But first things first, I just want to start this pod by saying rest in peace to Takeoff.
Rest in peace to the
Mr.
guy
Rocket
right
Man
there.
himself, man. We gotta stop this shit, man. We losing way too many rappers way too young, man.
Absolutely, man. For senseless stuff. Like,
Yeah, man. It's crazy how we just be losing rappers to the violence and it's kind of like almost like I'm trying to think of the word ironic
yeah.
because a lot of the stuff, the music stems from the violence. And ultimately, what ends up being some of these rappers' demise, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we gotta do better, man. There's no way we should be losing all these rappers that we lost over the past 5 years.
Yeah, literally. He was only 28 years old.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I was older than him.
Yeah, Yeah.
Shit, fucking Pop was 20 years old, bro.
Tupac?
Pop Smoke.
Oh, I was about to say Tupac? I was say, wait, what?
Bro didn't even get to experience his 21st birthday, bro.
Yeah, man.
Like that's insane when you really think about it, man.
Even shout out to the boy PMB Rock.
Oh yeah, him too. Cause we haven't been here so long that he passed away not even a month ago. I don't think.
Trying to get something to eat. Like he was at what, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It's crazy, man. But there's been a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of speculation behind what's going on. There's been some alleged stories about what's been going on with Takeoff or what happened with Takeoff.
Yeah, it's a couple, man. Like
they were saying it was a dice game in Houston, and an argument ensued, and shots ended up firing, and then he ended up being hit. But there has been a couple stories that's been going on about it. I mean, I'm sure all of y'all know. There was them saying that it was like friendly fire or something like that.
Yeah, but
like I heard that story, and I've seen a couple videos, which is another weird thing that be going on nowadays. Like a motherfucker laying there either dead or fighting for their life, and your first thought is to pull out your camera and just record the shit.
Yeah, that's I don't get that at all.
I don't know what's up with this.
But there was another story too, bro. So Quavo, who was shooting the dice with I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with Jay Prince. Jay Prince was one of the founders of like Houston, Texas, like when that chop and screw music was coming up. He was one of those big guys, music producer, music executive. Okay. So his son, Jay Prince Jr., they were shooting dice together because Amigos, like say, where they went to Houston, and that's where they're from. So they were shooting dice, and Quavo and Jay Prince Jr., got into it, and they was allegedly they said Jay Prince Jr. didn't like how Quavo was talking to him, so he tried to boss up on Quavo, which didn't play well with Quavo. They didn't like that, so I think if I'm saying it right, I think Jay Prince Jr. threw a punch at Quavo, and then Quavo threw a punch back. And then there was another guy in that video that they were keying out that had a yellow hoodie. And he said that was the guy that shot Takeoff because he shot him in the back of the head.
Yeah, that's one of the stories I heard.
And then used him for a shield. So that's how he got shot a second time, because after they heard the gunshots, they had a gunfight in that whole... That's why you see everybody running around and stuff.
There's a couple different like stuff being said out there. Then I'm hearing that it wasn't a dice game. They was just out there at a party at a bowling alley. There was some words exchange or whatever. And then from what the video I've seen, it looked like Quavo and them were trying to leave. They were trying to walk away from the situation, and somebody might have tried to swing on Quavo or somebody over on the Migos camp, and somebody just went with, all right, I'm firing. Somebody fired a shot, and you could tell from the video that, all right, they walk away, something happens like a little scuffle, or somebody might have swung at somebody. Then you hear one shot go off, and then like maybe a couple seconds go by, and then you start hearing more shots, but the shots sound like they're a little bit more further away. Now, what I've come up with was somebody tried to swing on Quavo, and instead of like it like becoming a fight, someone fired a shot,
I mean,
and
that
then
sounds about right.
the other side returned fire, and then Takeoff was just unfortunate to be caught in the crosshairs or whatever was going on between that. That's just my take from it, and I know a couple other people been saying the same thing. But there's a couple different scenarios about like what's going on. But regardless of the fact, it shouldn't even happen. Like if it was gonna be a fight, let it be a fight. Like if that's the case, somebody might get their ass whooped, somebody might get knocked out, but at the end of the day, you get to go home. Which
But
is,
that's not the case, with a lot of
I mean,
people these
that's not the
days.
case nowadays. Look at the King Von situation. That was a similar situation. He went up there to go punch on somebody, and they first initial reaction was to fire shots. Not the guy
Shoot.
he was punching on, but somebody from his camp decided to fire shots. Now, is it like, I want to ask you this: is it, with all the stuff that's going on with, like, not a lot of people like firing like or fighting anymore?
Yeah.
A lot of it's going to straight escalation to gun violence. Is it because of the music and the lifestyle certain people are betraying, or is it because these people aren't really like fighters, or they don't be trying to
I
throw
mean,
hands no more? I think it's a little bit of both.
I can sit there and say it is a little bit of both, but one plays off the other
Right,
because the lifestyle they live, they rap about it.
right,
That's how they get the money. And then a lot of them, they're not fighters because you look at today's society. Like let's take Chicago.
right,
Chicago is high up there. Well, it used to be one of the highest cities on for murder rates.
right.
But looking at, I watched like even recent videos. Like there's kids that are 12, 13 years old with extendos, man.
Yeah, man, it's
They
just
out there
getting,
and they walking around, going to school with them. So their initial thing, they're not trying to fight. They're trying to shoot
yeah,
because that's what they're being taught. And then on top of that, that's what they're listening to.
exactly.
So it all plays hand to hand off of each other.
And that goes into what I was saying before, like even with the King Von situation. Like I can't speak for them because I'm not them, but here's somebody who's portrayed as a shooter. That's somebody that'll murder somebody. You know,
Yeah.
as opposed to what's said in his music. And maybe the person from the other side just thought, all right, let me get the one up on them before shots start flying from their side.
Yeah.
So I mean, we gotta look at it both ways because it's becoming to be a lot of like a bigger problem now that everything's not like resulting in fights anymore. Like if it does start with a fight, it usually ends with like somebody shooting. And
Yeah.
I think that might have been the situation with the whole takeoff shit in Houston because you're not from out there. You're dealing with a bunch of other guys, and we just came from like Houston, so we
Yeah.
already like the mindset. They already have like guns out there.
Yeah.
Like
It's different
it's
out
it's
there.
different out there as far
It's
as like when
different.
it come to like guns and stuff. So these guys got guns.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they thought like, all right, before this shit gets to there, let me get there first. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people just like die because it wasn't like, I'm not gonna say it wasn't like that when we were growing up because we were probably like in the midst of like when this first started.
But it wasn't as bad, man. You didn't hear
You had a
about it a
lot
lot.
more fights
You didn't
going
hear
on.
about a lot of people like getting shot up. unless like they were in bad areas. Like nowadays, like motherfuckers is going to anywhere and getting shot up. It don't matter if you're in a rich area,
People
you're in
was
the poorest
pulling out the
area,
blick no matter what.
on any area. Like, back in the days, it was like, all right, the Bronx was bad,
Right.
or or even out here, like out here was bad. Trenton was bad for a little bit. Philly,
Trent
like
still
certain,
is.
I
Philly
mean, it's
Philly
not
is
that.
crazy right now.
It is. I mean, Trenton was worse.
Uh
It was worse.
I can't agree or disagree. But yeah, man, like the way like just crime in general is just on the rise. Like it ain't even like you hear about a shooting here, shooting there, blah blah. Now it's just like all the time, especially out in Philly and places like that, Chicago, shit like that. Like it's like an everyday thing.
Well, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
It definitely is a lifestyle, and not to piggyback, but like we said before, everything plays off each other. The music, the lifestyle, and like and then you made a great point before. A lot of these dudes are not fighters. A lot of these dudes, don't know how to fight.
all right.
Yeah, a lot of these dudes didn't grow up with their fathers.
A lot of these guys
You
don't know how
know,
to shoot either.
yeah,
You
yeah,
just get a gun and just don't do nothing. Don't never learn how to shoot it. Don't just you just going off of what you see
hey
on
man,
music videos, movies, TV, shit like that.
yeah.
So a lot of the times, motherfuckers be shooting shit up and then don't even hit the
That's
person they were trying
that's
to
how
hit.
that's how innocent bystanders get caught up in the crossfires.
Prime example, Takeoff, man.
Yeah.
That nigga wasn't arguing with nobody.
No, he was in the back chilling.
Yeah, he wasn't arguing with
Even
nobody.
even the people that a couple of females that were there, even put on like on their Instagram like statements. Well, not statements, but they told like their side of the story. They was like Takeoff was out the way. He was in the back chilling. He was quiet, chilling, like nothing. Like he wasn't bothering nobody.
Right.
Even 21 Savage, he had an interview. I forgot which podcast he was on, but he was just saying, a couple of words on how Takeoff was, and he was like, man, he a chill person. He the same person every time you see him. He's always laid back and out the way. So it's crazy, like, you see a guy that has nothing to do with a scuffle is the one that ends up dead. That's the crazy part for
Yeah.
me.
Absolutely, man. We as a people gotta start doing better, man. We can't like before it gets better, it's probably gonna get worse. And I don't see
But
how
when
it
but
can,
when is the line drawn?
the line's been drawn, man. It's just like
Because you
something
said
you
it's
guys.
gonna get worse. So it's like, when is enough is enough?
Look at it now, bro. Like I just said earlier, like look at all the rappers that have died within like the past 5 years over gun violence. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's such a lack of like morality today. Like back then there was like a code, but now there's not really ain't no codes. There's everybody just for themselves or for keeps, and it's unfortunate, but that's the kind of life we living in, and unfortunately, it's gonna get like more worse than what it already is before we even like reach a solution.
Yeah. What do you feel like a solution is? What do you feel like a proper solution would be? Let me say that.
Well, it has to start with you know the music.
So you change the whole
The
music.
music plays a big role in a lot of this stuff that goes on. You got a whole style of music like dedicated to violence.
Mm.
Drill music.
Yeah.
It's
I
dedicated.
mean, could you sit there and compare drill music to like, let's say, what's another like destructive music like rock or heavy metal
No,
in a sense?
because
Because I mean, they do wild shit there too, man.
it's not the same. It's nowhere near the same as far as like promoting like the type of violence. Like certain rock might promote like hypeness.
I mean, motherfuckers
Like
be mosh pitting.
maybe mosh, yeah, but nobody dies. Somebody might get a little bit hurt, but they're not talking about like killing somebody. So it's
True.
like it's kind of not fair to compare those two, but it has to start with the music first because that's what's probably the most influential as far as a lot of this stuff that's going on.
Like, say if they do change the music, a lot of those guys that made money off of music like that, do they still have a career?
Probably not, and it's gonna be tough to try to, because it is deeper than just telling somebody to change their music. Because a lot of these guys are signed to like labels
And but
that push this type of music
that's
too.
the that's the
So,
key thing.
and some of the times they don't even own their music, or
No, they
only
don't own their
like
masters.
only a part of it.
Shit, they don't barely own that.
So, but that goes into like the stuff that Kanye was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
like how they don't like this type of stuff gets pushed, and they're the ones that own this type of stuff. So they're profiting off of Black Death.
Basically, yeah.
So it's kind of like your hands is tied, because how you tell somebody, that might be in their early to mid 20s, maybe like late 20s, that's making all this money. All right, you gotta stop doing this stuff to be better for the culture.
They're not gonna do that.
It's not, when you got all this money, jewelry, clothes, women,
And
all
you
the
know,
stuff. Like the stuff is already set in stone, so
and you
it's
know,
going to be a hard mold to try to break if anyone ever even tries to break it.
and you know, not to cut you off. I don't know if they still do it, but I know back in the day they used to take out like life insurance policies on their artists, the gangster rappers,
Right.
because like Pot, Big, those kind of guys, they met their fate. There was other guys that met their fate, with gun violence or violence in general. But there was like, but the music, companies used to take out insurance policies on artists, especially the gangster rappers, because of the lifestyle they live, the people they hang around, the music they put out or they promote, just the
I
image
don't
they promote.
I don't understand how somebody that's not like family is putting a that's a beneficiary to your life insurance policy. I guess it doesn't matter as long as they paying the shit or someone's paying.
Yeah.
So that's the corporate greed.
And then you gotta understand a lot of these artists. Why do you think a lot of these artists stay independent, man?
Well, it's to own a lot of these stuff.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I'm
like,
saying. Like you went to the Kanye thing, like to own all their masters, like to own.
yeah, but there's independent artists that still rapping this type of stuff too. So it's
I
like
mean, true in that aspect. Yeah, true, true.
it's self destructive, man, because we got this type of music that's coming out here, and then like situations like this happens where these rappers die, and where we're upset, we're mourning, and all that other stuff. But then we listen to it, we buy it, we do all this stuff to promote the same type of thing. So we sit there and we like, we're upset about it, but then we support it at the same time.
Yeah,
So it's just like, damn, like who is really to blame here?
I guess you could say it's a 50-50 split.
It's deeper than that, honestly. It's really just the people that's the higher ups that's controlling all this shit,
True.
and we're just falling for it because you taking people from the hood and they ain't got shit,
And they're gonna sign
and like,
anything.
yeah, here's $500,000 advance. You never seen this type of money in your life.
And the crazy thing about it is when they give you that $500,000, that's not all. It's not
You
all
gotta
you.
pay
You
it
got to pay
back.
that back because you're in the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
Because because that money is added on to the money they already took. Take out for studio time,
They paying for your image,
publishing,
all this fucking jewelry and
tours.
and all the other shit, and you just out here just working. And sometimes you might not even see like a third of that,
No, that's why a
fraction of it.
That's why a lot of the artists I've watching documentaries, and other podcasts. A lot of them said they don't make their money until they tour
Right.
because that's where they make their money. Going to those venues, selling out. Like that's how they make their money. They don't make their money off of CD sales. Not a lot. They don't really see those.
Yeah, because you don't make that much off of the streams.
No. And then you gotta think about it. The
Plus
person yourself, you signed to, they're getting their cut.
Yeah,
Off the rip.
plus the streams be inflated anyway. They got motherfuckers in a room with like 100, 200 phones just playing your music all day. And like, oh yeah, so hit 1 million streams. Yeah, because the record company got people like that in there playing the fucking music from sun up to sundown.
I couldn't do that, man.
Bro, that's how the game is. It's not like back in the day where you had to sell like physical copies.
Yeah.
Like now, it's just like, all right, everything's based off streams. But like I said, man, RIP to all the fallen rappers that have lost their
Definitely
lives over
R.I.P.
senseless gun violence. We as a people gotta do better. We gotta loosen like the control that these higher ups have because it's only gonna get worse. Like I said, who knows? Within the next month or so, we might be hearing about somebody else passing.
I mean, let's hope not. And like you said, man, we got to do better. You know, as people. It's sad to hear, a guy that didn't even reach his 30s yet, get his life taken away while he was literally at the peak of his. Now, I can't even say he was at the peak because he was still rising in his career. They all are. So that's definitely a sad thing to hear about.
R.I.P.
But
Takeoff.
his funeral's this week. His funeral's this week.
PNB Rock.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Nip. Pop Smoke, all them guys. If I'm forgetting anybody, forgive me. I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
Baby.
So next thing we're gonna talk about is Kyrie situation. So Kyrie is being pulled through the ringer because
That's an understatement. Pull through the ring. That's an understatement. Call it what it really is.
Man, they over here playing with my boy.
They over here ganking him, bro.
Man.
Like straight up. They ganking my man.
Over a link that he shared or retweeted on Twitter.
Not comment, share.
All he did was retweet it. And that was it. And everybody made their own assumptions about it. Everyone put words in his mouth saying that he was this and he was that when he didn't say anything.
I got you. What really makes me mad about that? That I felt like they were trying to find something. Because they've been wanting to get him for so long. And they had to find something.
You could say that because of the whole... I know a lot of people were saying that because of the whole vaccine shit. Yeah. But I think it just goes into like the whole shit with Kanye because Kanye dealing with the same shit. We're going to get into that
Kanye,
too.
his is like a different... Like, it's the same, but his is different.
He actually was saying shit. And, he got the... I would say short end of the stick.
Yeah, because he said too much of the damn truth.
But some of the shit that Kanye was saying, I'll get into that when we get to that point. Let me stay on topic here. So this Kyrie shit, shared a link to a documentary that was on Amazon. Blah, 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 blah. People are in an uproar. They trying to find my boy. They'd already suspended him for 5 games.
500.
All this other goofy shit.
500K.
He ain't say not one word.
500K. So what is it's 5 punishments. So he gotta apologize.
All right.
He has to pay 500K to a Jewish organization.
Right.
Like why? Why? And he's suspended for how many games?
5 games.
5 games.
And they say he got to meet up with some Jewish leaders or whatever the case may be.
Like kind of like an AA meeting.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Basically,
it's a bunch of bullshit, and it just shows like the powers that be who really in control when it comes to certain shit. Because when shit like this is said about black people, it is not, the energy is not reciprocated.
No, it's not.
It's not reciprocated at all. There was none of this stuff. I'll give you a prime example. That fucking, what's his name, Riley Cooper situation.
Yeah,
the nigga was all on. I don't know what it was.
He was at a concert, and then I think TMZ was out there or something, and then he
nigga up.
Yeah,
just throwing it around like it was nothing.
Yeah, because I think he got into a fight with some bouncers that were black. And when alcohol gets involved, that sober mind speaks of,
all this nigga shit.
Yeah.
Bro wasn't suspended.
Nope.
Bro ain't had to go meet with no black leaders.
Oh, yes, he did. He had to go meet in that locker room, the Eagles locker room.
Hey, listen.
He had to go in that Eagles locker room.
And ain't nothing happened.
We know of.
Ain't nobody would know because something we would have known and somebody would have whooped his ass. So he did all that. And them niggas gave him a contract.
That's some wild shit.
So you could say all this shit about black people, don't nothing happen. I'll go even further. Remember that whole Donald Sterling situation? Owner from the Clippers.
Yeah.
Was caught on tape talking all this racial shit. they wasn't even going to do nothing about that. They was only going, I think,
Find them.
ban them from going to the games.
Yeah, and then
That's what initially was. All right, you can't go to the games. You can still be,
the owner.
owner of the team, all this other shit. You just can't go to the games.
Yeah, you can watch it at home and still
You can watch it at home. The only reason he got forced to sell that team is because the player said they wasn't going to play until he was gone.
And as they should.
That was and that's still not a punishment. You
It's
getting
not.
billions of dollars.
I mean, yeah, because then he get bought out. Did they
Yeah,
have to buy him out?
Yeah, they bought somebody bought it. He had to sell the team. So you're making money. It's not really a punishment.
It's not.
Because you could take that money and go do other business ventures with it, whatever. Or you don't own the team. You could go buy another team and another sports thing.
Yeah.
You can buy a baseball team, football team, whatever. It wasn't really punishment. This shit that they trying to do with Kyrie is like an actual like punishment.
Because it's a case. Well, not
Let me
a case.
let me get this out the way first. I watched the documentary.
Oh, you did?
I watched the documentary. I didn't see anything anti-Semitic, how people be throwing that word around in that whole documentary. The documentary is about black history and heritage and black people's, being like from like the black Jews.
Okay.
That's all it was. Some shit they talked about that a lot of people are trying to pull from is they had a couple quote or a quote from Hitler saying that black people, that Negroes are the original Jews. That's it. And it says this is what, and it says at the bottom, because I remember I saw this part, it said this is what he allegedly says. So they're not saying that this is like true, for it says allegedly.
Okay.
And a couple other things, or a couple other people, I think Henry Ford and this other dude from one of the princes or kings from like Egypt from like back in like the 50s or something was saying something about it. That was the only thing that they said. Everything else was educational and about where we come from, the different languages that we speak, the different tribes and all this other shit. That's all it was about. So a lot of these people, I guarantee you, all these people that's making these decisions
Never seen it.
about all this stuff with Kyrie Irving, he got to do, never saw the fucking documentary. Never saw it. I just want to know where's the other the outrage. Like when it's us, I'll give you a prime example with the whole Kanye West shit. Mm-hmm. He went on Drink Champs and was saying all this other crazy shit, or not crazy shit. Some of the shit was crazy.
It was some wild shit. Some of the
shit he was saying was making sense, but he was saying all this shit, and then he gets dropped by Adidas
instantly, like literally the next day.
But where was all this? Oh, we are against racism or all this other shit against another race or people, blah, 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 when bro said slavery was a choice.
Because that didn't concern them.
Or I'll give you one further. When he wore the White Lives Matter shirt.
Because they was still
as an organization, there was an opportunity to be like, hey, we respect all lives, or not just white lives, but black lives too, blah, 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 blah. And since Kanye's doing this type of stuff, we cannot no longer be in partnership with him because of the stuff that he's saying. When it was stuff like that involving black people, it was cool.
Because they were still being able to
make but then once you go on the other side, now it's, we gotta drop him.
Yeah, because he said something against the the masters, like his higher ups. And majority of the people that probably own that company.
Well, I know one of the owners, I think, is Jewish. If I'm not mistaken.
He probably, him or probably a couple of people called shots and was like, "We gotta get him out of here."
Yeah, but that's crazy to me. Like, you gotta, like, if you're gonna be like that and you saying that these are your core values and this is how you feel about it, then it gotta be like that with us too. It can't just be with just one group of people. It gotta be with everybody, or it gotta be with nobody.
That's true.
Like, that's how I feel about it. And we already know what's going on. Black folk know what's going on with this shit. Absolutely. And why all of it's going on. Like, you got other people that from other race groups not understanding or agreeing with the decisions that are being made because they don't understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. They on the outside looking in.
But we seen this going on for months. Like, the shit was brewing. Like, it was brewing. It was only a matter of time before like it was gonna happen. But you know, Kanye was slowly making his way to saying a point that he wasn't gonna be able to take back. And you seen it
And
because it was a buildup. Because
yeah,
it started with Sway in the morning because Sway had the answers.
uh,
Sway told
Sway
Kanye,
had
"Do
the
it yourself."
10 years later, Sway had
And
the
he
answers.
admitted Sway had the answers. We seen it brewing, man. We seen
Yeah.
it when you like this is one thing about Kanye, and look, I could be wrong or you know whatever, but I feel like he has no creative control over a lot of his shit.
He don't
He
because
doesn't. So
he
they
should have did like,
basically can do whatever they want with him.
bro, y'all gotta stop signing away y'all creative content.
And it was the money, bro. It's
I get the whole money situation and everything, and I get it, but this is what happens when you don't control your product. You're at the mercy of somebody else's feelings when you say certain shit.
yeah.
Now, granted, if you say some certain shit and it's like hateful, it's derogatory, it's all that type of stuff, and a lot of stuff got to be put into context too.
Yeah.
Then, all right, you might get what you deserve, but if you're just talking about certain shit and how you feel about certain shit, as long as you're not getting too overly disrespectful,
Yeah.
it shouldn't have to come to this.
It shouldn't.
Like because I didn't finish watching the Drink Champs.
I watched
interview.
majority of it.
I watched majority, but he bought his Jewish friend out at the end of towards the end of and they talked and stuff, and they was expressing their love and respect for each other. So if this guy who was a part of your community is not in uproar about none of the stuff he said to him, why are you?
Because he probably doesn't matter to that company. You know, his word don't mean nothing. Basically, it's about the powers. You know,
It's about the powers that be.
You know,
and it's
that's
really because of what he was saying, how the media controls certain narratives and certain shit, and they don't want a lot. I can't say because people know this shit, but I guess there's a lot of people that are blind to it too, and I guess they don't want the masses to really know certain shit. That's same thing with like healthcare and how you don't really need pharmaceuticals to heal yourself. All the stuff that you can take to heal yourself come from the earth. But of course, they don't want you to and you start talking about that shit, they're gonna do shit to discredit you and try because it's
about the money.
It's about the money. Everything falls back to the money. Like when it's all said and done, everything falls back to the money. So anything that goes against the grain got to be dealt with.
Yeah.
If you're affecting that bottom line, all right, well now this person's this. Oh, you gotta cut him off.
I mean, shit.
Ain't no more deals going on with him. He fucking up the money.
I mean, shit. If you really want to
Don't
keep it
ever
gully,
fuck up the church's money.
if you really want to keep it gully, it's so cold in that type of game. They took out their own president, JFK, because he was about to expose shit
Oh yeah,
about the powers that be, and they was like, oh no,
can't have this.
Yeah, and they did him dirty.
Y'all signed with the niggas. Sign with the brothers. Listen here, brother.
Oh my God.
We not having that.
We're not having that with you soul brothers and sisters.
Yeah, but they did that shit with JFK. Blew his shit all over the fucking
You can't say it like that.
Bro, but it's the truth. Blew his shit all over the fucking convertible in front of his wife. That's crazy.
That's some wild shit. Like when you really think about it, and it was at a parade.
Yeah.
So everybody
saw that shit.
Like imagine you a kid holding a balloon and you see your president like
Get his shit blown off.
like that's a traumatic experience. Just like, hey, let's take it fast forward. Look at the George Floyd incident. Imagine being a bystander, seeing that live.
All right.
You know?
Oh yeah, we saw it. It was somebody recorded this shit.
Exactly.
Everybody saw that shit.
I'm just saying being there in the moment.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
imagine being there in the moment. Like that shit is a traumatic experience, but that doesn't get talked about a lot.
A lot of shit don't get talked about, man. We
That's why
know what's going on. We know what's going on in this country. The shit's been built off fucking genocide and enslavement. We know what's going on. A lot of people was distracted and all this other shit, but if you really pay attention, you know what's going on. That's all Kyrie was trying to do, trying to teach people or bridge the gap so people can learn more about their heritage and all this other stuff. That's all it was. And people or whatever, I personally saw the documentary, I ain't see anything wildly offensive. If you feel like, oh, because they said that blacks are the real Jews and all this other shit, if you feel offended, all right, you feel offended.
Right.
But he didn't say anything.
No.
And another thing is people aren't mad at Amazon because that's where the documentary's on. Everyone's just mad at Kyrie.
Because, man.
No one's mad at Jeff Bezos. No one's trying to ban fucking Amazon and all this other shit.
Because
all the heat is on Kyrie by design.
Because they trying.
It's by design.
They trying to make him an example.
Because if you was that upset about it, you'd be upset about the platform that was showing the fucking documentary.
Because it's still on there.
Because it's still on there. Whatever happened to freedom of speech?
And the thing about it is, he wasn't even speaking. That's the crazy part.
But what happened to freedom of speech, bro? A KKK can sit there and have a rally and talk about black people, Jewish people, Mexican people, talk all this type of crazy shit. But just because you don't hold like a certain position of power, you're not an athlete, you're not a movie star, a musician or whatever the case may be, or a head of a company maybe, possibly. Like, it just gets overlooked. Shit, South Park, since I knew what South Park was, has been disrespecting Jews. That's all Cartman does.
Every episode.
Every episode
Every episode. And it's over 1,000. And it's over 1,000 episodes that they made. So every episode they disrespected Jews, blacks,
everybody.
Asians,
and that's the reason why people didn't bother with South Park, because they came at everybody.
Yeah.
They made jokes about everybody. But if you're sensitive about that, you must be sensitive about that shit too.
Yeah.
If you're that upset, be upset about that shit too.
Yeah, real shit.
Don't pick and choose when to be upset about certain shit. It's either you're upset about the shit when it happens or you're not. Don't pick and choose because the media is throwing it in your face. Oh, Kyrie's anti-Semitic because he shared a link to this, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Kyrie's anti-Semitic, blah. And all the fucking sheep just follow everything that the media says.
Because, man, when you don't...
This motherfuckers didn't even watch the documentary, up in arms about it.
And they never will. That's the crazy part. They never will. I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to definitely go check it out.
It's a long ass
how
fucking...
long
It's like
is it
3.5 hours.
God.
Isn't
it sections?
I ain't gonna hold you, bro. At some point, I stopped. Like, I'm just like, bro, I can't watch all
Is it
night.
like
I watched all of it because I knew I was gonna be here in front of this camera and talking about this shit.
Okay.
But at some, I'm like, bro, I can't keep watching this shit because sometimes it do get repetitive.
Okay.
After a while, I'm just like, bro, how many times you gonna fucking? At one point, they was fucking having like the languages, like how shit was said and spoke and all different tribes it came from. This shit was just scrolling for like 5 minutes.
So
I'm
definitely,
bro,
that's a weekend venture to watch that.
If you got a couple, I say break it up. Watch an hour here, hour there. Well, I can't even sit.
No, I'm gonna watch it over my trainer while I'm on the treadmill. I'm gonna do it for an hour. I'm gonna watch an hour.
There it is.
And then
it wasn't that deep. How they're trying to make it seem like it is, it's not at all.
It's never as bad as it usually said.
It's
like
not.
I said, they're not attacking the documentary. They're attacking the player.
Yeah,
that's basically because, like I said,
but say if you felt this type of way about it, be up in arms about the documentary itself. Mm-hmm. Be up in arms about Amazon and Jeff Bezos, the ones that would allow this shit to be on their platform. Be up in arms about that. You're up in arms about Kyrie. All he did was share a retweet about the documentary. He didn't say anything about it. That's it.
Basically, he was promoting it.
Hey, you can take it how you want. It's just because, and that's the thing with social media. People don't know when to pick to dissect what's real and what's not.
Yeah,
because you can sit there and share a motherfucker getting his ass beat. It doesn't mean that you're promoting it, or you might find it funny.
Yeah.
You might sit there and be like, damn, that's fucked up, da-da-da, all this other shit. If you don't say nothing about it specifically, you can sit there and come up with any conclusion about the documentary or whatever the fuck you shared on social media you want if you don't say anything behind it. So who are they to sit there and say, oh, he shared this, he's anti-Semitic because he shared this thing. He didn't say anything about it. You're basically you're doing all this stuff off of assumptions.
But that's
because he didn't say it. Now, if he would have said something,
but see, that's
the
point.
different. You got context behind the post.
But that's the crazy part. When he was in the interviews, you see the reporters. They were trying to get him to say they were trying to rile him up to get him to say something.
Are you anti-Semitic?
And you see every time they interview him, they ask the same question. They don't ask nothing about the game. They ask just about that.
And that's another thing, because people was like, oh, he was kind of ducking the question. Just because someone's ducking, they don't want to answer shit.
They don't have to.
They don't have to answer shit. They don't have to answer certain questions.
He answered a question to the best of his ability, and he gave you a proper answer. It's like, what more do you want? Because you want to know why? They were trying to get him to say something.
Yeah, they wanted him to bury himself.
They wanted him to say something.
And he didn't do it, so they just took whatever they got and ran with it.
Basically,
they
made up a story. They
tried to get him to hang himself,
and
he didn't do it. It backfired. So now it's Kyrie's anti-Semitic because he didn't answer a question about being anti-Semitic.
That just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's the truth.
That doesn't make any sense, and that's crazy.
And I don't care what nobody said, because no one's obligated to answer certain questions about anything.
If they don't want to,
absolutely. You can make your assumption about somebody, regardless. That's like asking somebody, "Oh, are you a racist?" And they'd be like, "Why are we talking about this?" And they're not answering the question. You can sit there and be like, "All right, that person is racist because he's not answering the question." Because the motherfucker can sit there and see, "Oh, I'm not racist," and still be racist.
Yo, those be the main.
Prime example, Donald Trump.
Those be the main one.
I'm not racist. And then completely shows
I got black friends
time and time again that you're racist.
I got black friends.
So it doesn't matter if you answer a question or if you don't answer a question. Because you can sit there and be like, I'm not a racist, and be a racist. You can sit there and say, oh, I'm not answering that question, or why are you answering that question, or ducking the question, and you're gonna make your assumption about it anyway.
Exactly.
Because you can sit there and say, oh, I'm not a racist, and someone's going to be like, you know what? That guy's not a racist. And then someone's going to be like, I'm not a racist. I'm like, I don't care what you say. You're a fucking racist.
Yeah.
So you're going to make any conclusion about a certain person, like, no matter what.
Exactly.
If someone feels that way about somebody, they're going to make that conclusion regardless of what that person says. Now, if you say some blatant shit like, fuck these niggas and da-da-da-da, like, the whole fucking Riley Cooper shit. He meant that shit.
he said,
he meant that shit.
He did.
He meant that shit, and then the organization could have chose to, all right, bro, you said, look, we got you on camera saying the shit. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about, the context is there. You calling these guys niggas. The context is there. Now, if he was arguing with these people and they didn't say this shit, you could have took it any which way you wanted to.
Yeah.
That's why I say context matters, and they didn't have no context behind these accusations that they was making behind Kyrie. He shared something, and people took it and ran with it, and tried to label him how they seen fit. Same thing with Kanye. Kanye is a little bit more all over the place because there was some wild shit into what Kanye was saying.
He didn't have like a gesture topic he was talking about. He was taking little bits of just everything and just talking about it.
But it just shows like who's really in control.
Yeah.
That's all like, because none of this, there's never this type of certain stuff going on when with these companies and stuff when there's black folks. Not to this extent.
No.
Like I said, Riley Cooper ain't had to pay no $500,000.
Yeah.
Go meet up with no black leaders or none of that other shit.
They would have whooped his ass.
They gave this nigga a contract after.
It's a 1-year deal, huh?
They gave this nigga a contract after.
They was like,
So it just goes to show, man. There's other uh, similar situations. I'm not gonna get all into it, but with this whole Kanye shit, a lot of people are trying to say that he's trying to get out of these deals so he can, start doing his own shit and start owning his own shit. And it possibly could have been that way.
but it's like, dog, don't go. It's like this is not the right route to do it.
I mean, I don't know, man, because people seem to forget about shit.
Really?
Yeah, bro, this shit gonna blow over.
Yeah, but it's like I don't think it's gonna blow over too easy because the black community ain't really rocking with Kanye all the way like that. Because he did say some questionable shit.
Yo, what, the whole slavery was a choice shit?
And the George Floyd thing, like
The George Floyd shit was off the wall.
yeah,
That
like
shit
that was
I don't agree with at all.
that's something you could have just kept to yourself, honestly.
Yeah, and
like you
far
keep
as
that to
the
yourself.
far as the whole slavery was a choice thing, I kind of get the gist of what he was trying to say.
Well, not to cut you off, I feel because I'm like you seen Black Panther,
Right.
and there is even other movies that talk about this. That a lot of the slaves, when they were captured, a lot of them jumped off the ship and killed themselves, and they rather got eaten by sharks than to be slaves.
Than being slaves.
And that's why I guess
that's why I get the gist of what he was saying.
But he should have went into detail with that.
But here's the thing: it's hard to sit there and say that because not a lot of people's gonna be like, "All right, I'm gonna choose fucking death."
I'm not.
That's the thing. It's easy to say that shit when you're not in that situation.
Yeah.
It's like you're choosing between killing yourself and
Being a slave.
potentially still living. It's going to be hell, but you're still alive.
Yeah. That's a tough.
Like it's a real like hard decision to make. Like, I'm gonna die. Now, could they probably just been like, you know what? We're not doing shit. You can whip us. You can do all this other shit. We not doing shit. Could have been that way. It was that way with some places.
Yeah.
So do I agree with Kanye with that specific statement? I won't say that I agree, but I get where the gist of that is coming from.
Okay.
Because a lot of people try to take the shit and, slavery is a choice. Like, oh, yeah, we just got up there and just, we could decide to leave whenever we want to and blah, 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 blah. I get that. Yeah. That wasn't the case. But I get where, all right, motherfucker would rather die than be a slave.
That's why I said when he made that comment, he should have went into detail about,
right.
He should have explained, a lot more. Because a lot of people.
He basically just threw that out there and gave anybody
whatever your imagination.
Whatever you could think of about how he said it or whatever. But the whole the White Lives Matter thing, that shit is just
that was an attention seeking thing. Because he had teamed up. What was that?
Here's the thing about that too, because I found out that the saying or slogan or whatever, a White Lives Matter, is owned by two black people. They own the rights to it.
Wait, what?
That's what I heard.
Really? Who?
I don't know their exact names, but that was the information that was given on to me. And if you think about it, it's smart. Because you got so many people that are trying to push that whole White Lives Matter shit. Mm-hmm. And that's how you feel. And it's kind of a backhand thing to Black Lives Matter saying, your life isn't important.
Basically, yeah.
Two black men are profiting off of your ignorance.
If that's the case, that is type smart.
Exactly. Now,
that's the case,
I don't know how true that is.
If
that's just some information that was passed along to me. So y'all can do your own research. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the information that was passed on to me. And if that's the case, smart shit.
That is really smart. I mean, yeah, that is really smart.
Smart shit.
Very.
Because all you bigots and all this other shit, y'all just
y'all going out buying them shirts.
Y'all going outside.
Y'all buying them shirts.
Because you thinking you making a statement, and I don't care what you say. Once you start trying to do that whole White Lives Matter shit, you kind of showing who you really are.
Absolutely.
And you're putting that money into black folks, potentially, allegedly.
Hopefully.
So, but at this point, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I hope that Kyrie can get past this shit and get back to basketball with all this goofy shit that's going on with that shit. Or they were saying some rumors that he just might retire.
I mean, bro, I'm gonna keep it G. Like, I'm not paying $500K.
Oh yeah, you can kiss
I'm
my
not.
you
You
can
just.
kiss my
I'm just.
ass.
That's my last season.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not. I'm not paying
that's
500K.
you can kiss my ass.
I'm not paying 500K. You
Cause,
got me.
Because
You
the
got me
NBA can sit
fucked
there
up.
and do all this other shit and oh yeah, Black Lives Matter on fucking t-shirts during warm-ups and all the other shit. But once shit goes like this and you not backing me up, all right. If you felt like some shit was some type of way, all right, maybe the suspension, maybe. But he didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
You're doing this off of just the fear of the response of not doing anything.
They're saying more than he is.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. They're saying more than he is, and he's the dude that posted it.
Yeah, but I'm proud of Kyrie for
Holding your
somewhat
ground,
standing
man.
his ground.
Yeah.
Because, he didn't make that apology. That apology that came out, somebody from his team or the Nets or a publicist put that shit out there to save face.
He ain't paying
Because
that
he ain't say that shit.
He ain't paying that 500K either, man. You can cancel Christmas with that one.
I would told him kiss my ass. right in that meeting. I ain't paying y'all shit.
I'm not giving that 500K, bro. I'm sorry.
I don't care. That's how I would have been. And this is no way, shape, or form any diss towards any people from any religious or groups thereof, whatever. I'm just speaking my mind about certain shit because I felt like he would have had some context behind some of the shit he was saying, y'all would have a leg to stand on. But he didn't say anything, so y'all don't. So y'all just coming up with your own assumptions and just declaring it the truth. So regardless of what was in the documentary, there's documentaries about shit that go on all the time. There's fucking Hitler documentaries.
Yeah.
World War II
Nazi documentaries.
documentaries and all this other shit. So if
that
if y'all was that offended, y'all be offended by that shit too. Shit, I don't feel offended when I see fucking documentaries about slavery.
No, I don't.
It's history. That's what that documentary was promoting, Black history.
But you ever notice, every time things come out about our history, shit starts to get sensitive. Motherfuckers really start to tense up and try to tell us we can't talk about our own history.
They don't want you to know your real history. They want you to think that you was just a slave from Africa and you came over here and then you had to deal with segregation and all the other shit. But y'all doing all right for yourselves. Y'all came a long way.
That's like a big slap in the face.
As motherfuckers still dying and being killed in the street by cops and all this other shit.
Yeah, but y'all doing well.
Y'all doing all right, brothers. Oh man, it's not funny, but it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Context. We know what we talking about. Y'all probably don't, but
yeah, y'all don't get it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's an insider. Oh man, where's that fucking sound shit at? Where is it? Damn, it's been that long. I can't even find where the shit. I think they moved it. Oh, gotta do it in there. It is. Oh man, it felt good to be back in this space.
Oh my
It's
God,
been
yes.
a minute.
Yes.
It's been 2 months.
We missed y'all. Hope you missed us.
Hope y'all missed us too.
Absolutely.
We're gonna be back into the swing of things, man. You just, life sometimes beats you up and you gotta step away and take a moment to regroup.
Yes.
And all the other stuff. So we're regrouped and we're about to get back into doing this thing because this shit is low key therapy for me.
Oh yeah, believe me, I love it. It gives you get a chance to say what's on your mind, speak your mind. Be yourself. This is your domain.
Yeah, and I don't have to feel like I'm restricted because of fucking Mark and his Facebook antics.
Shout out to
Fuck that nigga, yo.
Come on, yo.
I don't care. Fuck that nigga.
Hey, before we head out, I want to definitely give a shout out to the homie, my home girl Amber Nicole. You see me out here in the Hunter Green. out here looking like the
that,
Grinch.
that nigga made sure that he said it was Hunter Green.
Hunter Green.
He texted me and told me, yeah, I got the green sweatsuit. And he had to correct himself and say Hunter Green.
Hunter Green.
So he wanted to make sure. But shout out to Amber and
Shout
the
out to Amber.
sweatsuits.
Absolutely.
The shits is fire.
Yes.
I guess you can
You
hit her
go
up on the website, Amber Nicole, I guess.
Yep, Amber Nicole, definitely hit her, DM her. She definitely got those fire sweatsuits, man. The holidays coming up.
Absolutely. Get your wife and your side piece one.
Cause I'm definitely
Make
getting
sure
like
it's
5
different
more.
colors so she don't think that it's
How niggas like to buy their side pieces matching sneakers.
Oh man, shout out to Eddie.
Oh come on.
Oh man, if niggas ever found out who Eddie was, his shit be over.
Look, man, there's probably some people that know who
Only a few.
Oh my God. Yo.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Until next time, I'm Jay.
This is B.
This has been Lit Logic. Catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.